Hello everyone, welcome back to the OneTalk Podcast. You're here with your host Ryan McCarthy, and today we're joined by my good friend Travis Cochran, also known as the Technician. Travis is a coach who helps people rewire limiting beliefs and shadows that hold people back in life, relationships, money, and much more. And within today's episode, we touch a lot on mastering and becoming friends with that inner beast that we have within us. And then also we touched on overcoming limiting beliefs and some of the challenges that come up. And we just reflect a lot on life, and I guess there's just a lot of the challenges that we see people struggle with in today's world. So it's a really cool episode, and I can't wait for you all to dive in and check it out. In other news, if you could please leave this podcast a rating, it means so much in terms of helping this podcast grow, but also reaching a larger audience. So if you're on Spotify or Apple, if you could leave a rating. If you're on YouTube, if you could subscribe, it means so much. Are you struggling with the emotional roller coaster of PMDD and the challenges of ADHD? Caroline Baker understands what you are going through. She is a mum who discovered she had ADHD at 35. Caroline also suffers from PMDD, a combination she describes as the perfect storm of mood swings, brain fog, and emotional overwhelm. In her new book, The Healing Journey, Navigating Adult ADHD and PMDD, Caroline shares her deeply personal story along with holistic strategies and science-backed tools to help women regain balance and thrive. It's available on Amazon in February, and you can get early digital copies now at healingjourneybook.com. That's healingjourneybook.com. This is more than a book. It's a lifeline for women ready to take control and heal. I highly recommend this book. I've also had Caroline on the podcast before. She's got so much wisdom, so much knowledge. Her own personal story is empowering as well. I'll have the link in the bio of this episode, so please check out the book. I highly recommend. But without further ado, let's welcome Trav the Technician.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. The marathon continue. Victory lap tonight, though. Victory lap tonight.
Welcome to the OneTalk Podcast with Ryan McCarthy.
The marathon continues. That's what you would say.
Welcome to the OneTalk Podcast again. Trav, how you doing, brother?
I'm so excited for this, man, because I'm thinking that you were one of the ones to really start me on this journey, 3 years ago now?
Yeah, just over 3 years.
So to think about what's actually transpired for both of us, bro, you're a dad now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How cool is that? So, I've got a fiance now, and, it's wild to think how much can happen. And I guess it's very relevant for what we're going to talk about today with showing people. I think we get caught in this mindset that, I need years to get this done and this, and my 5-year goals. It's what happens if you actually maybe believe that time can collapse however you want based on your mindset and your body and your spirit and energy. But the key one, what we were just talking about, your network.
Yeah, exactly right. Your network is massive. And especially if you reflect back when we first met, before we even did our first podcast, when we met at that retreat up in Noosa years ago.
Close to be conscious.
Yeah, that 4-day retreat that we went to, and just to see how much has happened in both of our lives in the last 4 years. Like you say, you're got a fiance now. I've recently just had a child. I'm married, and everything else that's happened in our life. It's just been incredible, bro. The journey that's happened. But if you reflect back then and look at now, we probably overachieved a lot of our own expectations, even though sometimes we can get caught in our own mind that we're not doing enough. I know sometimes I've been caught in that mindset, I'm not doing enough. I need to push more here. And it's already enough now.
It's funny, bro, because you want to I guess listen to your own advice. And I'll say to clients that get caught in the whole, I'm not worthy unless I'm doing this, I'm not worthy unless I have a house and I'm earning this many dollars. And I go, well, does that exist for friends? Do you love your mate Tristan because he has a nice car and a nice home, or do you just love him for who he is?
Yeah.
And then they go, no, it's different. It's not. This is where we start to see it. It's okay, well, maybe you have embedded beliefs that are causing you more harm than they need to. And bro, it's so important to trust yourself and have compassion, because the world's already hard enough for you to be hard on yourself.
100%. And we're always putting value on other things rather than value on who we truly are You know, like you said just there, we don't value friendships mostly based on what people have, but we value it on who they are. But then when we look at ourselves like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough to be friends with these people, maybe I'm not good enough to be in these circles. And it's like, it doesn't come down to materialistic things or what a perception you may think you may need of yourself. Instead, just be who you are and people will accept it. And if people don't in that certain circle, I guarantee another circle will.
It's a great barometer for you to figure out who your real mates are, because if they're determining your worth in their life based off what you're doing, what you earn, these sort of things, then maybe it's a bit of a consideration of, look, don't get me wrong. I will add to that where it's like, well, I want to be around people who are getting after it too.
Yeah.
You know, there is a part of me that now really values people that they're good people for who they are. They have beautiful values. They're good. They got big hearts, you know, all those sort of things. But I love business.
Yeah.
I love podcasting.
Yeah.
I love sports and training and things like this. So it's nice to be around people where I can feel like I'm growing because they have this similar sort of values and things that they love, which is great.
Yeah. And even if you do have friends that do have like the materialistic things, I feel like a lot of that is a reflection of their own internal anyway. So like it still relates to you liking that person. Like you said, if someone's smashing in the gym and the big aspiration for you is gym, it's like I really love Mike because he's smashing the gym, he's disciplined, he inspires me that way, but he's also a good bloke too.
Yeah, bro. And you've just reminded me too, there's a part of me that used to, when I first started, I got caught up in all the self-development as we do. And you hear all these gurus, they go, you have to be like this and you must be like this. And I caught up in the whole thing, like, you know, if you want to be a entrepreneur, you got to get around entrepreneurs, and that's who you got to be around them. Don't worry about your other mates that are this, and this. Like, nah, man, I've still got time for my mates that might be the footy players that still like to have a beer and catch up and talk about surface level stuff. That's actually okay. Like, I have time for that because I know that is me too.
Yeah,
that's where I came from. You know,
there's
like
multiple parts of you.
Yeah, bro. And I guess that's what makes me who I am, because I've had to go through so many different iterations of who I am. I've been through the NLP, Trav. I know I was fucking annoying then. There was a version of me that was like the football Trav before all this. And now there's a version now currently playing out that is the fiance Trav, is the driven Trav, he's the technician, he's doing the things. But at the core of it all, I never want to forget who I have been up to this point. So I allow for those versions of myself, the healthy parts of them, to still be seen and felt by the people that loved me when I was that person.
And in saying that as well, like how do you, I guess, battle any shame that comes up maybe of decisions that you've made along the journey to become who you are? Because I know guilt and shame are two of the heaviest things people hold on to. With yourself, how have you shifted guilt and shame?
Great question, bro. The thing that pops through for me is what's let me actually get to where I am today is letting go of the people pleaser within me. Now, a lot of people will probably resonate with this, where let's say a certain symptom is, because we talked about it before, right? There's survival mechanisms. I word it as self-sabotage, but I know there's a better, safer way to, like, just survival mechanism. Your nervous system, your limiting beliefs, or your programming is protecting you from what they perceive as dangerous. So for you to survive growing up, it was pleasing your parents to get love or something like that. Like, you perceived it that I only get love when I do this. So then that leads into the rest of your life. Like, I know I people pleased because that was the only way I felt safe to be loved. It was the only way I felt like I fit in, by being really nice, by just, like, I am a really nice dude at the core, but the difference was, I think a lot of it probably was manipulative in a way.
Yeah.
Theo Von talked about it with Dr. Mate, Gabor Mate. And it's a survival mechanism for me, where it's like, rather than deal with conflict and tell people how I really feel, I would just be like, sit on the fence or not have something to say. So when I really activated, and probably a topic we'll talk about today, became mates with my monster, really tapped into my darkness, which was always there, bro, that gave me my energy and my inner cunt, basically, I'll call it, to make decisions for myself and not care about if someone judges me. Because it's so important. I see so many people, man, not live their life because they're concerned about how they're going to be perceived by people that they love. And that sucks.
It does. Because it's really, truly holding people back from their own potential in life. And, you know, you can't really find out your own potential if you're constantly trying to live up to other people's goals and values. 'Cause that's another thing too. Like, we try and mold ourselves into other people's beliefs and values, but we also mold ourselves into other people's goals as well. live up to other people's expectations of what we should achieve. And that's why you see so many people get into a trade and then hate it down the road. See so many people get into university and hate it down the road. It's because other people set that goal for them to go and achieve. And once they get there, they're like, shit, this actually wasn't for me at all.
And dude, it's so well put, because think about it. I love visuals. You're essentially stepping into someone else's avatar. You don't know the controls. So that mission is way harder. Yeah. You trying to control that robot you've stepped into, that suit. You don't understand how the left foot moves forward. You don't understand how the right hand grips onto that next bar. So you're trying to get through life playing out someone else's avatar that has different settings. And you're sitting in there going, how the fuck do I do this? Yeah. And that, if you bring that into a real world, I guess, symptom, getting out of bed and being inspired for what you do for life. Like my basis for success, bro, I said this in Riley's podcast, was I wake up in the morning now, I walk out, I get my little sausage dog out of his crate. I'm like, wee-wees. We go outside. He does his wee-wees. I do a bit of stretching in the sun. Maybe a little bit later, Christelle will wake up. I'll give her a kiss on the cheek and be like, morning, baby. And cool, my life's pretty sweet if that's how it starts. Yeah. And then I get to go sit in an office and talk to people and help them. Like I get excited about that. I'm not living out someone else's dream anymore, where, don't get me wrong, I loved football when I did, but I think Dad loved it more for me. Yeah. And I was stepping into a bit of his avatar or his beliefs and his goals that he let slip away when he was younger.
Yeah, well, that's probably something I'm going to have to be aware of with my son as well.
Yeah.
Because I want him to play football, but obviously I don't want him to try and chase what my aspirations are for him, and instead let him define himself.
And it's cool, bro. Like, I think what I've noticed with I work with a lot of parents, and not being one myself, I try not to step over the line too much, right? Because I always want to come from a place of lived experience and wisdom. But I sort of bring it back to human psychology and the way that the brains work, neuroplasticity, and how we grow as we learn. And I think you can just do the best you can. Yeah. Like, I think no matter what, bro, we talk about trauma so much in this space, and I think everyone's going to get a little bit fucked up as they grow up.
And to be honest, a bit of trauma has probably been real good for me,
bro. Honestly,
character, resilience, and all that.
Like, I look at the stuff I went through, and I'll call it life experience. And dude, I wouldn't be able to do what I do today. I just filmed a video just before, which sort of came to me, and it was a really powerful video, just trying to explain what people feel like in my presence when they come do my coaching. Because we talk about it is that you can't really do mindset work unless the body feels safe. And I think I'm so good at what I do because I'm a big motherfucker, and I feel like I'm a pretty safe dude. I've done a lot of work to give off that energy, and that I'm a good guy. So when people walk into my house, say, to do a tech talk, it's like, oh, I feel safe. I feel safe to tell Trav everything that I've not told anyone before. And then he can give me advice and wisdom to help reframe things. And because their body feels safe, it actually is like taking that on, and it's changing. Because what I'm finding is that this coaching space is huge. And I don't want to go around like slandering anyone. I'm not about that. I just want us to be better. But this mindset work that a lot of people are doing, they're not incorporating the somatic stuff with it. Because we might think that our brain controls our body, but I think it very much is in synchronistic with it. It's like the body remembers everything. Like that book, The Body Keeps the Score. Yeah. You know, it's like that. If you still feel that anger in your gut that is related to something, that then if you ever experience that feeling again, it'll sabotage you from getting to that point. Yeah. For example, for a really basic example, if you grew up thinking that you weren't worthy of money, your body remembers that. And your belief system remembers that. So what do you think it does to stop you from feeling pain? Let's sabotage them from getting more money. Let's procrastinate on that big gig, because we know at the end of that big gig, there's more money, and that's not safe. So it's wild, man. It's like these things we don't get taught around how our brain and our body works, and our spirit and our energy. And I've been able to unlock all these things, but trying to get people to do it feels impossible sometimes because they're terrified of change. Yeah.
And it's so true too, like, because you do see it in the body to begin with, like in the line of work that I do, and I'm sure you may have seen it as well. Like, you'll see someone sitting there tensed up, like maybe they got like tense fists.
You can feel it, hey?
Yeah, or like you can just feel them tense, and you're like, why are you tensing your fist right now? And then they're like, oh, wait, shit, maybe I'm anxious. They don't even realize they're feeling anxiety or very anxious in the moment. The body's just stiffed up, but it started in the body to begin with before you even get to the mind.
Yeah, bro, because the body never forgets when that man beat them when they were 7 years old or whatever it might be, right? So I try not to go too far deep into the stuff that makes it feel like happen. I'm more of a present and forward thinking type of coach and mentor because obviously I respect so much like what therapists and psychologists and that do. Like it's incredible what they do, and I would love to work in sync with them. You know, if I feel I don't really work with people that are deep in there, you know, still probably quite need a lot of healing before they get to doing coaching and creating a business and they're a high level athlete or whatever. But I know that with my type of mentoring, I can shift so much just through the rewire process and allowing them to get to a point where they want to be without stopping themselves because their survival mechanisms are kicking in.
Well, how important do you think it is to understand someone's story? Like when you are coaching someone, like how important is it to know someone's story to understand the person they are today so you can rewire them going into the future?
It's a great question, bro, because I think, again, I think this is why we probably do so well with podcasting, right? Yeah. Because it feels really nice for people to actually ask questions and listen.
Yeah.
So even in that self, I think that gives you a weight off your shoulders. Like some tech talks I do, bro, I just sit there for an hour and people just tell me. That's how I started coaching. I literally did $50 coffee catch-ups at cafes, man. Yeah. And people would walk away saying, I don't know what he did, but I feel like I'm floating and my energy's crazy. And I still didn't understand it back then, but I was willing to just do what felt right. And I think that can be really hard in this space, bro, because you do cop a bit of shit being a coach. Yeah. I know why. Like, I understand why, because there is some dodgy motherfuckers in this space, but I guess it's like anything, man. There's dodgy doctors, there's dodgy psychologists, there's dodgy retail workers.
Yeah.
It's gonna be everywhere.
I'm not one of them.
Well, neither. But it's kind of like you get caught in this game where you're literally just trying to help people. But you have to sort of, and look, I'm here for it. I wouldn't be doing this shit if it was easy. So, dude, it is really important to really get to understand people, at least their story. Because without the story, right, we can't write the book. I want to rewrite the book, because what I find is that we're meaning-making machines. You've probably heard that saying before, but something that a process I literally have discovered this week, bro, game-changing, right? I'll share it with you in here. Basically, I get a lot of clients to look at the data versus the drama and to really simplify things. So if anyone's wondering what do I mean, it's like, well, what's the data of what just happened? What's the actual real objective evidence that just happened in your world? Okay, Jeff didn't message me back in time. Okay, he took a couple of days to text you. What's the drama you added to that? I'm not worthy. I knew this another piece of shit would just do this to me. Men are all the same. Rah, rah, rah. Jeff's phone died. That's the data. He's away at work in the mines. His phone died or it broke and he had to buy a new one. But you sat there creating all this drama and ruined your life. Key word there, your life. You added all this shit on top of the data because you love drama. And most people do. Dude, when I was reading it, I can't remember what book it was, but I read this paragraph and I was just like, holy shit. And everything just landed. It's like, well, basically, we're deciding that we've got this nice hot meal and we're deciding to throw shit on it. Like, you've got the meal there.
And the ways to criticize it.
Yeah, dude. It literally exists in front of you, but you're going, let me just add a little bit of spice here. And he said in there is that what's happening is that we've got a population of people that are so addicted to drama as the same way we're addicted to takeaway, because you get dopamine from conflict resolution. Or people that are neurospicy like myself, a little bit ADHD, autistic, you can get dopamine from actual like little fights and stuff too, or like resolving things, or there's all sorts of things you get dopamine hits from. But we get caught up in this, bro, where, again, coming back to what is the actual data that you're going through? Why are you adding the drama? Well, I know why, because obviously you had a tough life, but it's kind of just trying to reframe it for them to practically see, you're right. I don't go to the gym, get out in the sun, drink water, or eat good food. Oh, I wonder why you feel like shit.
It's so true though. Like the things that you do on a day-to-day basis to create a reflection on, how your mood is or how you're feeling in the moment. Like even we were talking about before the podcast, sometimes we'll go moments without doing breath work because we talk ourselves out of it. But then once we come back to it, we're like, shit, this is why it's so important.
Oh, bro, like just that little breath before the 4-6-9. I instantly just felt what I guess I can visualize for people is just this channel opened up through my whole body. It's like I felt freer to speak and be who I am. So maybe I was a bit more jacked up than I thought.
Yeah. Your body knows.
Your body knows, man. And it's, I think once people start to get more into their body, because a lot of people dissociate, anyone wondering what that might be is kind of like some people might feel that it's too scary to be in their body because that's where their emotions lie. So they will stay in their head. And that's where the overthinkers sort of check in. Addictions or people that stay really busy. I'm sure a lot of us, I'm sure there's a lot of listeners that are 25 to 40 years old. I bet a lot of your fathers have always been the guy that's out in the shed tinkering.
Yeah.
Dad's always mowing the lawn or doing something. It's really weird. Yeah. Oh, I wonder what he's avoiding.
That's true. Because, you don't really think too much deep into that, do you? Like, why is dad out there? Or why does that person spend 10 minutes in the car at the front of the house before they come in the house? Like little things like that, like what are they avoiding or what are they sitting with?
It's wild because what's actually happening for me, I try not to tell too much about like my upbringing and stuff just because I've got so much respect for my family and they don't get a chance to defend themselves, right, when I'm speaking the story. But I had a beautiful upbringing and everything, but like I said before, you're going to go through shit with regardless.
Yeah.
I had beautiful parents. I love them. They're amazing, but some things that they did and didn't do unfortunately created some things in me. And one of the most common things I see for clients in my experience is you'll either have a passive father and a narcissistic mother or the other way around. And you'll then be able to tell what wounds play out in your relationships based on your mother and father relationship. It's exactly like, what type of men are you calling in because you didn't have an emotionally available father? Probably ones that are a little bit toxic and that don't treat you the way you deserve, but you're used to a father that never really told you or showed you and made you feel what is an emotionally available man feel like. So unless your nervous system, unconscious mind and belief system knows what it actually looks, feels and sounds like, it doesn't know how to fucking create it in your life. Yeah. So I think that's another thing. Like when I work with female clients, I just be me. Like I've got a missus. Like I am a safe man that's just doing his job.
Yeah.
So I hold a really safe space that's non-creepy, non-leaky, because you probably get a lot of coaches that are a little bit creepy too. And because of that, I think even just unconsciously, they're healing their version of what a healthy man looks and sounds and feels like. And pretty much every woman I've worked with, if they're, single, they go on to find their partner.
Yeah.
Even men, like I'll never forget, dude, shout out to Dave. I want to shout out to Dave from Mackay/Moranbah. Bro, he's killing it. When we first started, and I've done this case study, so I know he's okay with me saying this. When we first started, bro, he wanted to take his life. 2 years later, he's now got the love of his life. He's done NLP a couple of times, loves coaching. He's got his own business that's thriving. He's lost like 30 kilos, killing it because I was able to show up for him. Like I won't say that. He had stuff go on that played out the way it did and he needed some support with it. So I provided that. So there's a lot of men, bro, that I work with that haven't been shown a healthy man that actually shows up for them. Oh,
it's just so true, bro. Like even last night I had to fucking fix the drain in the bathroom sink.
Yeah,
and like myself growing up, like I didn't have a dad around to teach me how to do anything. I felt fucking useless. And then
bro.
I actually did it, unclogged it, got the sink back together. I was so proud of myself. I was like, fuck that.
I'm proud of you.
I don't need no man.
You know what's really powerful for that, bro? If you're open to me saying this, you're actually going through a massive reparenting of your little boy through being a father now. And I can't even imagine the blocks that are going to be unconsciously moved purely by you just showing up for your little man and yourself. And I had a process with my mentor that was powerful, bro. Like I realized in a moment that I won't share just out of respect, but basically it was a moment where these are visualizations I do too, where I showed him, my little self, my 11-year-old self, I'm the man that he can look forward to, that he can look up to and be like, holy fuck, he's got me.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm safe. I don't have to keep defending him from this limiting belief and program to keep him safe. He's good. I can just go chill. One of the best things I could recommend to anyone is watch Aubrey Marcus's episode on IFS, Internal Family Systems. Yep. And he does an episode with the dude that created that. I can't remember his name, but Aubrey talks about where he was in the room with his father and his dad was playing table tennis with his mate. And his dad's super competitive, right? Yeah. And he would have been like 2 or 3 years old. And his dad accidentally hit the ball and it hit the roof. And Aubrey just said, goal, like just being a kid. Yeah. And he said when his mate left, his dad turned around and looked at me like, did you take the piss out of me in front of my friend? And beat him. Wow. So at that moment, Aubrey, his little self created like a warrior to protect him from those moments, or men. I'm pretty sure he didn't trust men for years. And then when he was doing this process, or he's done it before, that it basically said, I think he actually says it in the episode. He's like telling the little self that the soldier that he'd created can go home now. Wow. He's done his job. And he felt this, I'm getting goosebumps telling it. It's like he got to go home and it's okay. The war's over. Wow. You've done your job. I'm safe. And then that he felt like this deep block for trust around men go in that moment. So internal family systems is something I'm going to learn myself, because I try not to touch anything I haven't done like proper qualifications in, if they're a lot deeper like that. But the dude that created that's got a qualification and cert that you can do. So myself and my mate Drew are probably going to do that at some point, because for me, I've done that before with a couple of mentors, and that inner child stuff, bro, game changer. Yeah. Because especially when it comes to like healing and taking the steps forward, even with myself, like a lot of the work I had to do had to start from the inner child wounds and the things that stemmed from early on in my life. Like it wasn't like, all right, yesterday someone cut me off in traffic, I need to overcome that. It's like, no, that stemmed from somewhere else, from a past. Until you get to that root cause, you don't really push forward into those next stages in life that you want to get to. And for me, a lot of the work had to start with going back to be able to go forward. I love that. I'm so glad you brought it up, because did you see Toddy's post the other night about you're struggling to get your goals? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. And like, it's because your nervous system can't handle it. Yeah. You're trying to tell yourself you're going to climb fucking Mount Kilimanjaro rather than just climbing like Mount Coolum first. Yeah. Just break it down into those little steps, chunk it down. And I think we get so caught up, and you mentioned it before, we get so caught up in trying to achieve and do so much and go so far and have these things. What if you just focus on being the happiest version of yourself first? Yeah. 100%. Then once you are this glowing light that can call in everything it wants energetically and through taking actions, you'll have everything you want, bro. Like I never really talk. I don't like talking about how much money I make and stuff like that, because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Yeah. I do this because I fucking love it. And though I tell this story to a few people when I need to, because I want them to know what's fucking possible. My entire life I've been broke. Yeah. I literally would have money and just like, where's it going? Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, it's like, where the hell did it go? Like Houdini with money. And I couldn't understand why I would make I think the most I ever made at a job was maybe $1,200 a week after tax. And I was balling. I was like, yeah, I can go buy a new laptop and all these things, knowing that my survival mechanism then was like, I get massive amounts of dopamine from buying shit. This makes me feel better. I'm depressed. Let me go buy some shit. So figuring that out later, my shadow block around money was that money to me meant that I lose the people I love, based off when the Broncos opportunity came up. Yeah. And there's been a lot more, like mum and dad would sort of say those words of like, oh, money's not easy to come by. It doesn't grow on trees. There was always kind of like talks about that and how hard it is to make. So I had to overcome those voices, bro. Yeah. In the back of my mind, my belief was Trav doesn't make money. Especially when the majority of the population has that idea about money as well. Like money's a negative. Yeah. We need it, but we don't want it to an extent, which is crazy. It's wild, dude, because now like last year, my biggest month, I think I did $45,000. And I look at that and I go, well, I've also spent years building a really high level skill, but I I couldn't make that money before that year
Yeah.
because I didn't believe I was worthy of it. So now and when I first did a month like that where I made, I think the most was like 35 before that. And I freaked out. My whole nervous system shut down. I actually went into like a fucking dark night of the soul for like 3 months.
Well, 'cause
I went missing.
I was just about to ask as well, like, even though you felt worthy, how do you continue to still feel worthy?
I had to work through those blocks, bro. So like seeing the money in my account, as I said, I freaked out. When I say the freak out, I just stopped working. I finished up with my clients. I had like 16 at the time, which was already destroying my nervous system. And I worked my ass off to get to there. But then my body was like, we did it. Yay. Yeah. And I shut down. But in the darkness, that's where Trinity was created. My new coaching methods now, like rewire, like all the shit I have now was actually created in my downtime.
Wow.
And this is why I'm so emphatic about people meeting their darkness, because from what I've experienced, my darkness is where a lot of beauty lies. You know, so moving through those blocks was tough, but like, this is why I love this work, bro, because I can find where that block around money is in your body and your mind, help you shift that by doing tasks, holding you accountable, doing journaling, breath work, and we start to build your nervous system capacity to hold levels of money because it's energy. And then all of a sudden, like me, dude, right now my bank account, I don't have $1 million, but I know I could hold $1 million and not freak out.
Yeah.
Because my capacity for it feels like it's at that point now.
That's why you hear a lot of stories around people who win the lottery but then end up broke again in like 5 years.
I don't deserve this.
Yeah, so you end up just splurging it all on things that they don't need and trying to find ways to get rid of it unconsciously.
And it hurts, bro, to think that people are struggling right now. You know, I actually feel guilty saying how much money I make because it's like, how dare you fucking charge this, this, and this. I've copped that before. Yeah. But then I have to say to them, it's like, dude, can you also understand that I've come from where you're from, but I also put a shitload of time, money, and energy into what I do for you. So like, it's 12 weeks with someone, 24/7. I'm on call. It's not a psychologist visit where you go see them once a week or once a fortnight, and then they don't have to deal with them. I'm literally there, and I'll reword that. They don't get to support them. That's the way I see it. I support them literally Monday to Friday, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's my time slots. But if they're freaking out at 10 p.m., I'll be there for them in my Telegram chat. So technically, I broke it down. When you take out GST, tax, the energy I put into it, the time, the hours, I think I'm getting paid like $5 an hour.
Yeah, well.
You know, so it's like, if you want to look at hourly rates, let's really start to put these things into perspective. And I mean, I never feel like I need to justify what I do to anyone. I used to think so, but now I'm like, no, because I change lives with what I do. That's priceless.
Were you trying to justify it for other people or justify it to yourself?
Both. At one point, it was like trying to overcome still like that self-worth piece. Yeah. And or that guilt. Oh, how could I be charged? This is awful. Yeah. I'm such a piece of shit. How am I selling to people? I'm so awful. Yeah. I used to hate selling, bro. I used to think it was real slimy. Yeah. But then I realized it's like, shit, if I don't sell to them, they're not going to overcome their own limiting beliefs. Yeah, 100%. I actually have to help them break through that initial little stage of, I can't do this, Trav. Yeah. And look, there's a degree where it's like, I'm not going to force you to do it. But then, that was interesting. There's also a part where I can see and feel when they're just there. Yeah. And all I need to do is reach my hand into the mist, into the fog and go, yo, I got you, it's okay. Yeah. And if they reach out and they grab and they come through with the program, cool. If not, they're just not ready.
Yeah, no, that's the thing too as well. Like, I've got a perfect analogy. A couple of years ago, maybe about 2 years ago, a door knocker came to my house selling solar. And at first I was like, oh, and I was like, I actually want to think more about solar and ask more questions because it actually might be beneficial. Invite him into the house and he gave a great sales pitch, props to him. And we ended up signing up and getting the solar. Now, 2 years later, I reflect back on that. We saved so much money by having solar than not getting it. Now, I'm thinking, imagine how many doors he knocked on before mine where he got, fuck you, no's, no one answered them. But then he came to our house and made a massive change by saving us a lot of money just because he showed up that day.
See, that's why stories are so important. Like, that resonates for me, and people can relate because they know they've turned down a door knocker before.
Yeah, he probably got turned down 20 times before he knocked on my house, but he knocked on ours. He's made a big difference in our lives, like, you know.
I think what's even worse, bro, I guess to a different degree of what he does, it hurts when you've got a product that you know helps people.
Yeah.
When you've got a service that you know will change someone's life. Like there's tangible fucking evidence. I have hundreds of testimonials from people.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I get why people are still skeptical, because they might say, but what if it doesn't work for me? And that's normal. Yeah. Like I do agree that you still have to actually show up and do the things I ask you to do. I'm not just going to do it for you. I'll do it next to you. Yeah. I'll take you through the forest I've already been through, but I'm not going to fucking fight the bear for you. I'll stand next to you and be like, let's go, baby. We got it. Left, right, left, right. But end of the day, you have to actually make a conscious decision to actually want to change. Yeah,
it's not like you invest into something like this and straight away your whole life's changed. You know, you've got rid of all your limits and beliefs. You get jacked. You get a good relationship with your missus and all that. Like, It takes the guidance and the work, and eventually you'll get there, bro.
Yeah, but look, it's the most rewarding thing you'll ever do. And like, you've seen it, bro. You've done work yourself, and I'm sure you look back at the version that we met each other. Even like, look at that. Like I look at that and I go, who was I when I was in that ice bath? And like that day I let go of my first bit of anger that I didn't know was like hidden in my sacral. And I remember Rye, I think it was, come up and like pushed right into it. And you probably remember me at the back just like roar, like roaring out. And that was my, I guess, perceived darkness that I was never, I didn't feel safe enough to tap into him yet. And then I did it, the ripple effect. That's the monster that came out.
Now let's talk about that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's a perfect segue, right? I think I know. No, I don't even think I know. The biggest thing that holds most men back is being afraid of their monster. Most of them are running from it.
Yeah. And talking about monster, just before we get into that, like maybe it's general in all of us, but maybe for you specifically, because it might relate to everyone else. When did that monster start to creep into your life? When did you first become aware of it?
When I nearly killed a kid playing football.
Yeah.
I realized, oh shit, okay, this dude's scary. He can hurt people. On the football field, I was okay with it though. Like there was part of me that was like, I'm allowed to do this. Off the field, ooh, don't speak up. Ooh, don't go after your goals. Ooh, don't tell someone how you feel. And then that darkness got suppressed. So when it came out in the football field, holy man, they copped it. Like that's the only place I let my monster out. So being able to integrate that part of me, that darkness that I was so scared of, which I guess to bring it back to, you know, what people might understand, it's that anger, that rage, that passion. We get told anger is a bad emotion. It's a fucking beautiful emotion, man. It's the only reason people like you and myself get shit done.
Yeah, it motivates the fuck out of me.
Literally, bro, like passion, right? Like I'm sure at some point you utilized an energy of, I'm going to show them.
A lot.
That's a form of anger.
Yeah.
I used that for a bit. Currently, I use a little bit of anger and shame or guilt because a friend of mine, shout out to Nez, and I've told this a few times, but I always tell it because it's like, this might really resonate for someone. She said to me, I told her an opportunity I had with the Broncos.
Yeah.
I actually had a chance to go talk to them and I fucked it up. I didn't even do anything with it. And she's like, Trav, how dare you? Yeah. How dare you don't actually, like, you let your own shit get in the way of you potentially going and giving a speech to maybe one of them really needed to hear that.
Yeah.
So now every day I've got that in the back of my head where I'm like, how dare you, Trav? Like, how dare you not get a good night's sleep so you have the energy today to go create that product that may have helped that person. And I still, like, I catch myself, bro. I still get caught up in procrastination and being lazy or whatever it might be, whatever I'm avoiding. Yeah. I know there's more. But for anyone listening, especially the boys, the men, the brothers, the benefit of integrating my monster, I'll tell this story. I had a client who's from the mines up in like Moranbah area. Yep. One of the angriest dudes you'll ever meet. Good dude, but he'll fight everyone on the football field. But he does that because he thinks that's how he shows love and protects his people, like his mates. So if someone tries to like start something with his mate, he's in there straight away, right? Yeah. Reactive, a lot of anger. That was his protective mechanism because he went through a lot of shit growing up. So anger was his only survival mechanism. I helped him sort of integrate that because it would come out when he was drinking. So the visualization I gave him, and I actually now have created this as a process for the men that struggle with anger, or I actually just do it with everyone. I'm like, okay, you go into a party. What's happening right now is you're already drinking. The big dog's on the door going, oi, let me in. Fuck you. And he's like real angry because he's like, why don't you love me? Why do you think I'm not part of you? I'm going to make your life hell. Yeah. I'm going to fucking break into this party and I'm going to cause chaos.
Becomes like your own demon.
Literally, bro. And he's not, you don't love him, you don't see him, you don't pay attention to him, so you can't control him. Whereas that whole scenario would be different if you were already in there drinking some skewies with him right next to you. What if he was right next to you in the pub and he was part of you? You loved him, you saw him, you saw him for what he is, and you didn't shame him anymore. So he's sitting there having a good time with you, and he doesn't want to go and fight anyone because he's chilling with you, having a few beers with the boys. So it's like this, that visual, I'm sure you saw that, and anyone listening, I'm sure you just pictured that, where it's like, yeah, you're right. I literally am terrified of that version of me. But it's if you actually got to do the processes of seeing why he exists, and that even though mum, dad, grandma, your teacher told you, hey, that's bad, nothing's bad or good. It just worked at the time.
Yeah, it depends what you do with it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, bro. And look, there's some bad people, for sure. Maybe there's some evil dudes but again, that story of the hero and the villain were both a baby.
Yeah.
One of them decides, I'm going to hurt the world for the way it treated me. The other one's like, I'm going to heal the world for the way I was treated. Like Batman, both his parents were killed, but he just goes to fight crime so that no one else loses their parents.
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do. I don't want people to go through depression. Knowing that literally it came from identity crisis and purpose. I felt fucking useless, bro. I was meant to be a Broncos player at 17. I quit. And then I'm working at IGA. So my whole identity as a man was questioned. I didn't feel useful. I had a heap of other shit I didn't know how to deal with. I had anxiety that was crippling. Oh, well, time to take my life.
Yeah. Then all these stories you start telling yourself, and then you start to believe those stories. And then when those words get so loud, it feels like you can't hear anything else.
I haven't told this story many times, bro, and I'll share it with you on this one now that we're back. I'm sure now a few people have heard how I was working at a car sales place for a bit. A story I actually shared at a car sales place when I was doing a workshop recently. And I had to preface it with this because the post story is a bit dark. But I was working at this car sales yard as a salesman. I thought, fuck yeah, Trav's a car salesman. Now I'm worthy. Maybe I'm doing something right with my life. Sick. Nah, my anxiety's crazy in this place because it's the first like high level job I sort of had. Brand new Toyotas, one of the biggest dealerships in Australia. Yeah. Everyone else is really high level. And I'm freaking out because I'm not worthy. I can't do this. I'm shy. I'm awkward. My face gets red when I try to talk to people. I sweat when I talk to people. That's where I was at. So 3 weeks in, I'm freaking out. I got the job, beat like all these other participants somehow. And then 2 of us got left, me and Gator. Shout out to Gator. And there was a time there where I was so stressed about moving the cars because I didn't know how to drive manual.
Yeah, okay.
My anxiety, I just was like, fuck that. It's too much stress. And then one day they were like, Trav, can you go move one of the Yaris's? Oh, no. Freaking out. Like, all right, already a Yaris, everyone that knows a Toyota Yaris, it's fucking tiny. I'm 6'5". So I go to get in this thing, I squish up in it. I'm freaking out, bro. I'm like, what do I do? And the worst part about it is when you're having to move cars in the yard, it's all really tight. So someone has to stand up front and be like, yep, 2 clicks left. Yeah, this way. Oi.
How'd you
Scouse. I literally put this fucking thing in 5th gear instead of reverse and went straight into another car. Nearly took out the dude that was guiding me because I didn't know the Yaris's had a little ring you have to pull up to get into reverse. Yeah. No one told me that. So I'm straight into 5th gear, destroyed another Yaris, 2 brand new Yaris's just taken out. And obviously you can imagine I'm like, all right.
Panic mode.
Literally. It was actually, again, I have to make it humorous because the next part was like, that's when I was like, okay, well, that's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah, I've had enough.
Yeah, bro. Like if I can't even drive a fucking manual car, what is the point? And I don't know if it was the same day or like a day after, it was the same week. But I literally, was driving home in the car, my Nissan Maxima, and I was like, yeah, what's the point? And I went to take my car into a tree. And as much as I've told that story a couple of times now, and I'm like, I feel comfortable telling it, I know how common this is for so many men, especially. Yeah. Because they just feel useless. Like, what is the point of me being on this earth if my reason for being as a man, to provide, to protect, to be of purpose, doesn't even exist? Well, let me just do everyone a fucking favor because I'm clearly a burden.
Yeah.
And which, if anyone feels like that, please, then that's not the truth at all.
Not at all.
That was just what my brain was telling me.
Well, it's because of the standards that are out there in the world that we try and live up to. And we're trying to grow up in systems that don't align with how we can function in our own reality. And we're trying to mold our own life into something that doesn't even fit us. Like, even for me, school wasn't for me. I had a shit experience through school, got expelled, showed up to school every day, baked off my head because I didn't want to be there. And it was just my own way of escaping. Left school and then just didn't really do anything for that long because I didn't want to go into a society where I didn't feel like I fit in. And that's why I fell into a dump as well, because I was like, what's the point in being here if this world doesn't feel like it's for me? And it's like, no, I have to find a way to define my own world, how I can create my own reality and how can I shape that.
Oh, man, it's something. There's a story that just popped up the other day with a client and helped him move through this, which changed his life. What you just mentioned is probably way more common than people realize.
Yeah.
Feeling like they're left out, like they're a loner, that they don't belong, they're abandoned, rejected from society. And something that I've learned with all the learnings I've done around this stuff is, like, as humans, if we take us back to the Neanderthal days, if we weren't part of a tribe, we were going to die.
Yeah, that was survival.
That was survival, man. If we didn't have the boys, I got to fight a fucking T-Rex by myself. I'm done. I can't. Where's everyone? So it's like that now plays out in our societal existence now, where as a kid, Julian, I can't remember his last name, but he's a coach I follow. He's got amazing stories. And he said the first time he witnessed his daughter struggle with something was when she embarrassed herself in front of the family. She was like 7 years old. She went to stand up from the dinner table. She tripped over. Now that might just be minor, but she thought, oh, I'm going to get rejected by everyone because I embarrassed myself and they're laughing at me. I'm going to get kicked out of this family. That means I'm going to die.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, that little thing means so much more. Fast forward a little bit, as they get older into school, right? And I experienced this quite a bit. I already felt like a fucking weirdo. I was very shy and awkward and just different. Like I read Warhammer comic books, like I got picked on for that. And I know people think, how'd you get picked on, Trav? You're a giant. Well, this is the thing. I was a giant dude who had no heart and I'll take that back. I had a massive heart, but I just didn't know how to deal with how they were treating me. So what happens in that space is like, well, if I get embarrassed in front of other kids, which I did when I tried to do public speaking, like presentations, my brain goes, shit, I'm kicked out of society. I'm going to die. So my nervous system goes, all right, well, we need to be in fight or flight right now, AKA anxiety. So my entire life, bro, from like, I would say 14, when I moved to the sunny coast from Woodford, the little country town, my whole existence was anxiety because I was in survival mode. I didn't know where the fuck I belonged. I literally moved out of home at 14, lived with my mates and their parents, and forever grateful for Tice, Turi, their families. Like, I wouldn't be here without them. But my entire existence was based on, where the fuck do I fit in? Who am I? I don't even know what to do. I'm embarrassing. I'm shy. I'm useless. So therefore, I am just a ball of anxiety. So football, bro, leading up to games, Jesus Christ, like I literally thought about killing myself just before games because of the pressure and anxiety I felt in my body. But that's not the reason why. Let me share this story for anyone. This might really hit. I realized, dude, for 33 years of my life, sorry, no, wouldn't be 33 because it was when I was 6. However long that is, it's terrible at maths. 27. So 27 years of my life, dude, I had a belief system that if I don't perform, I don't get love. So every single thing I did, if I wasn't good at it, I don't get love. Because I went back to a moment when I was 6 years old and I played my first shit game of football and dad didn't love me, or he didn't, celebrate and go, well done, mate. Yeah. He kind of like, you can do better kind of vibe from my experience of sitting next to that 6-year-old. And I realized like, holy fuck, everything I've ever done has had an expectation on it, because if I don't do well, or if I don't succeed, it means no one loves me, especially the main man in my life.
That makes sense why the people pleasing thing came into it as well, because you feel like you're not performing at that level. So you're trying to please people to hopefully meet an expectation.
Exactly, because it's like, and I always had reasons for if I played a shit game.
Yeah.
I would always say, oh yeah, my knee's a bit sore. Just in case, if I have a shit game, I've got a reason.
Yeah.
I've got an excuse for why I did that. So just think, I'm sure there's a few brains right now going, oh my God, I've got this story that plays out. I do this, I procrastinate, I self-sabotage when I get near success because dad told me. Like there's all these stories, man, that coming back to why I love knowing people's stories, because we get to rewrite it if you know the fucking story. You won't know the story unless you go back and read it to someone. Yeah. But most importantly, read it to yourself. And there's a process I take people through that is literally, did you go to Espen's 3-day?
No.
So at Espen's 3-day thing, it's like you write a letter and then you read it out.
Yep.
And I don't know if you remember that video of me, Todd, and Rip sitting and I'm reading out the letter. I get people to do that now. And it's so cathartic because you're literally, your unconscious is like, holy shit, you're finally saying sorry. Holy shit, you're actually releasing from your body. You're expressing this thing that you've suppressed for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow, this is powerful. And then all of a sudden, a lot of anxiety I've found as well is from that, dude, is from like unexpressed emotions.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just bottled
It's
up.
just bottled up, it's built up. It's like a soft drink that's been shaken, the lid hasn't been taken off yet.
Yep.
Just bubbling. And
like breathwork's a game changer for it. I don't know if anyone's seen Inside Out 2 yet.
No,
Have you seen it?
No, not yet.
It's one of the best depictions ever of anxiety. That's the new character that comes in. And I can't remember the other one. It might have been disgust or something, or shyness or something like that. Yeah. And anxiety, is like trying to protect you from things that don't even exist yet. But she's freaking out in the control room, being like, I got to do this, got to make sure this. It's like, hey, just calm down. Take a breath. Relax. We are safe. But a lot of people might not know that that's true based off their experience and their story. So if someone says something that might remind them of what happened last time they said that thing, let's go grab the book from the shelf that means this. That causes this response. Fuck you, all right. It's like, and it's crazy, dude, because again, what I said before, it really hurts knowing that I have these abilities and skills and knowledge now that can change people's lives, but they don't even believe that they can change their own lives.
Yeah.
Or they're scared of the change because change is terrifying for most people.
Oh, it's daunting, especially to begin with, because I find when we are in chaos or we are in pain, sometimes, I know with myself when I was battling like major depression to the point where I couldn't even leave my bed, I was actually addicted to that feeling because at that time I was like, at least I'm feeling something.
Same. Yeah.
I was like, at least I'm like, even though it's painful, even though I'm telling myself every day I'm worthless, like at least I feel something. And I was holding on to that. And that was another reason why it was so hard for me to change or make a shift in my life, because I was like, if I get rid of this, then what will I have?
And also, if you're worthless, then that's okay that you're not achieving things, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's just backing that belief. It's like, yeah, you are a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel better that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, that I think I'm supposed to be doing, because society says I'm supposed to be something.
Yeah.
What if being something means you're just living?
100%.
Like I said this to someone the other day. He was talking about, I did a tech talk. It was such a beautiful tech talk. A young lad, mid-20s, but just feeling so pressured to be like everyone else around him and judging himself that he hadn't achieved this thing, hadn't bought the house, wasn't earning this much money. And this is when I brought that example up. It was like, dude, do you love such and such because of the things he owns, or do you love him because he's him? And that bombshell, bro, I want this, whoever's listening right now, really think about that. Let's get a little bit existential here. I, dude, have actually recently in the last few months been struggling a little bit with this reality we live in. Because I had a moment, funnily enough, I was just sitting there gaming, drinking a beer. And I was listening to this podcast about psilocybin and what it does to your brain and how it rewires and all these sort of things. And something he said fucked me up. I caught it, and I was meant to for a reason. But he said he was listening to this dude that was a expert on all like psilocybin and things like that. And he doesn't know, I think he must have been dosing at the time. And he said what happened as he was listening, the version of him that loved that guy vanished. And then his voice just started sounding like, whoa, 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 whoa. So it was like the version of him just dissolved.
Yeah, well.
And then he couldn't even understand what this dude was saying because he couldn't see or hear him because the version of him that existed didn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Now, I know that's probably a weird concept to think of, but what that triggered in me, and I've really not struggled with it, but I think it's actually opened up a few opportunities for me. What I realized in that moment, bro, I can't even explain this. I'll share this. Fuck it. I don't care how weird it sounds. My TV dissolved in front of me. Like I saw the code. You know, you talk about the Matrix.
Yeah, the green.
It's like code. I saw the zeros and ones that created the energetic form or the physical form of what I was looking at. It's like I called Christy, my best mate, who's like an energetics expert for anyone that doesn't know Christy Drake. I called her crying because I was freaking out. I tried to call my missus, but she didn't pick up as usual. But I called my Christy, and crying, and she's like, "What's up?" I said, I feel like Gandalf, but I'm freaking out. I feel like I could literally like look over in the corner and just wish I had $100,000 and I could create it. And she just laughed. She's like, "Welcome." I said, "What do you mean?" She's like, "This is what you've been working towards. You realize what your powers are with energy and what you are and what we are." And when she said that, now it unlocked this whole belief system of like, holy shit, dude, nothing actually means anything.
Yeah. But then to experience that, instead of neglecting it and feeling crazy, instead speaking to someone and embracing it.
I embraced the hell out of it, dude. And ever since then, my life's changed like crazy. Like when I went to Japan, something happened in me too, where I saw, again, this experience of like, holy fuck. I have still been getting caught up. I was blind to the fact that I still am not living the life I want to live. I'm still getting caught up in these belief systems and these expectations that I'm now a coach who does 20K months and this. Who gives a fuck? So again, like for someone who's done 8 years of self-development, I still got caught up in this thing that actually doesn't mean anything. I get to make everything a meaning to myself without hurting others. And there are objective truths, obviously.
Yep.
But for me, it's like, well, why can't I be the best coach in the world and get hired by the best NBA player to go live with him for 2 months and work on his mindset with him to change his life? Yeah. Like, why is that not possible? And that then opens the possibility. And this has just proven that there's a fucking supercomputer that's discovered that there's parallel universes. So what started to happen for me, bro, after this, when I was dreaming, when I'm asleep, it still happens now. And Christy was telling me this, and my now mentor, Jess, shout out to Jess. Essentially what I'm doing is energetic work while I'm asleep because the form of me, the spiritual energetic form of me is going out and doing the work. But also what's happening is that I'm probably doing the whole like, what do you call it? You're going to another reality or parallel universe as your energetic form. And they've proven this shit's real. Yeah. So what's happened is in my dream, holy fuck, okay, I need to tell you this.
Oh, let's go.
This just popped in. So I don't know if you saw my post where I said I'm now doing athletes and business owners and my whole 5-year goal is to be working with NFL teams, NBA teams.
Yeah.
Bro, that week, I'm asleep. And I've still got the mess. I'll show you after to my mate Christian. Shout out to Palu. I said, bro, I just woke up. Last night I got drafted by the 49ers. Wow. And I remember the feeling of being around all the players. I was there. So what that gave me, what I believe, what I'm choosing to believe this means, I saw the version of me that exists that I am the coach for NFL players. So now that's going to happen because I know the feeling of it.
I love versions already created.
This is it, bro. Manifestation happens through, from my experience, when you can see and feel and experience what that would feel like. So that's why they say, go and sit in the fucking Lambo that you want to get or whatever. I don't care what you want to get, but go and experience and see what it feels like in your body energetically. And then see how quickly that shit happens.
So true, because some people may dismiss it as woo-woo, but you look at some of the most successful people in the world, prime example is Conor McGregor. He talks about manifestation and visualization. And I actually created a clip that I did of another clip from a different podcast that I did. But what it was McGregor talking about before he fought Jose Aldo. And he's in the warm-up room practicing the left hook and the exact same spring off his step, exact same hook. Goes out there within 13 seconds, lands the exact same shot on a guy that's been undefeated for like 12 years.
Bro, I'll never forget that punch. It was nuts. And it literally was like it had already happened. So okay, I'm getting full confirmation here. So when so my experience, and I'm telling you, this is fucking real to my core. When I experience deja vu now, I know that I'm on the right path to going to that parallel version of me. Because I know I've experienced this before. So it means that the destination, I'm on the right path. The direction is happening. It happened in Japan twice. I was like, holy fuck, I've been here.
Yeah.
So I'm on the right path to that version that I spoke out into the universe. I said, I'm going to be one of the best fucking coaches in the world that coaches some of the biggest athletes and business owners. Because my concept is that what I want to do, bro, is I want to influence the 1% that influences the 99%.
That's where big change happens.
Big change, bro. Like, look at blokes like this and like blokes like Ronaldo, like Speed. You know, did I tell you I was a fucking security guard for Speed?
No, you didn't. When did you do that?
This is the sort of shit, right? These things start happening. I was driving down to the Goldie to do a podcast, and I pulled in at North Lakes to have a sleep because I was fucking tuckered. Yeah. And I'm laying in my car just full cooked. And then I just came up. I'm like, oh, okay, I better drive down the Gold Coast. I get on Instagram for a doom scroll, and I see my mate Raw, who created Juicy Fest, just landed in the Gold Coast, and he put a story up saying, I need 5 big lads in the Gold Coast, hit me up.
Oh, real?
Straight away. I'm like, hey, bro. And he calls me. Yeah. He's like, brother, opportunity of a lifetime, get down here. I'm like, oh, shit. I didn't even question it. Yeah. I didn't even know what the fuck was happening. And then he calls me. He's like, bro, I need if you know any other big dudes, we need a security detail for Speed. He's doing his live vlog down here in the Gold Coast.
That'd be nuts.
So what happens, right? I get down there. And I'm in this hotel near SeaWorld there. Whatever that big one is. Yeah. I walk in and I see blokes and I'm like, holy fuck, you're Hayes the Huntsman. You're such and such. You're Simi, Jordan Simi. Yeah. Blokes I want to get on the podcast. You're part of the fucking security detail I'm about to be part of. We're all sitting around a table, Mad's like just chilling, doing our thing. No one's allowed to post anything because if the kids find out where Speed is.
Yeah, you can't drop location.
Bro, basically we get to Dreamworld. Ready to go, the vlog's on. Oh, someone had let out in the crew where Speed was. Oh, no. He messaged someone or something, so all of us got sent home.
Oh, shit.
The whole security detail. So the only people that stayed was Hayes, the Huntsman. Mad dude, by the way. Shout out to Hayes. He's coming on the potty. And I think Simi and another big dude. So you would have seen them in their vlog.
Yeah, I saw Hayes.
Bro, and they're just like TikToks are blowing up. And I was looking at it going, fuck, that could have been me. But what I took from it, right, and this is for everything that happens for me now, is everything's perfect. And what I experienced that day was really confirming. My thing I struggled, bro, up to this point or up to that point, doing what we do with podcasting, getting around people, speaking on stages, all these things, I never felt like I belonged. There was something in me that was still telling me I was the awkward, shy cunt that doesn't deserve to be here. That experience of being around people like that, I felt like I belonged. So that was really affirming for me.
Like a bit of validation.
Yeah. So I took that and I was like, fucking oath I belong. I'm the technician, man. Like, and I started owning it really deeply, more than ever before.
I'm Himothy,
baby. And from there, ever since then, bro, it was like a couple of months ago, it was just before Japan, everything has just taken off, like beyond anything I could imagine. Like my whole framework for my entire business and how it's going to grow dropped in Sunday, just this week gone. And ever since then, man, I've been having synchronicities, opportunities. I've got a meeting with a sports agent this week coming who's going to potentially hook me up with some big time athletes. Like there's stuff happening that I don't share about, which I'm happy to just openly speak about at the moment. Just knowing that if I speak it out without sharing too many details, bro, I back myself. I'm happy to share what I'm doing because I want everyone else to believe that what I just said, it might sound crazy. It might not sound believable, but I'm fucking living it. Yeah. So that's to me is evidence that it's true.
100%. And I feel like speaking into existence as well is another way to keep yourself accountable too when those, I guess, demons come on your shoulder and try and creep you back into your old habits. And it's like, no, I've got my alignment of where I want to be. And I can't go back to that person I used to be because this person that's waiting for me in the future is going to be staying there waiting for me. I'm going to keep walking forward towards him.
Oh, I like that visual for me just landed really hard because I can see him now. And it's like a real jacked version of me. Yeah. I can see, because what I've noticed this year, bro, especially, again, Japan, all their food's amazing. And they must use different oils to cook in.
Yeah.
because I ate so much, but I like lost weight.
Yeah.
And I felt good. Didn't get any indigestion. Wasn't snoring like I normally am. I was sleeping a bit better. I was just so happy over there. And I got back and this is something my coach and I worked through together. I realized I stifle my emotions a lot with food in the past. So if I was feeling an emotion, I'd go get some takeaway food to stifle that. And ever since moving through that blocked energy, which was actually down here in my lower gut, dude, I don't crave any of that shit anymore. And I'm on fire with my work, gym, food. My brain is concentrating, even though the spiciness is trying to take me down. And I can just tell that whatever path I've been set on by doing these really hard things, like I couldn't afford this mentor that I took on 3 months ago. It was just before Japan. Yeah, I took a massive risk. I think it was, I won't say how much it was, but it was a lot. And I didn't have that amount in my account. So I was like, fuck it, I can do this. Yeah. And then that decision, bro, the next week I get 3 clients. Yeah. Like it's just,
when you make that switch, once you make that decision, things truly change, doesn't it?
You have to break through the discomfort and the barriers because they're going to hold you back every time. I don't push people to, put yourself in stressful situations. Like don't fucking burn the boats if there's no island there for you to take. But, still there has to be limits that you break through. Otherwise you stay in the same spot. There's a story of a dog in this book I was reading where every day gradually he just kept pushing his barrier a little bit. So that those shock collars where it's like a little thing set up in the ground, and he just kept testing it. He's like, I'll go back. Let's go again, a little bit more. Because he could see like a deer or something in the forest. Yeah. He wanted it, man. So each day he just tested. He's like, oh, fuck.
How bad is this going to be?
Yeah. Kept going. Eventually it just stopped. And then he's like, whoa, and went after the deer, right? So it's like he just kept pushing, knowing that eventually it's probably going to stop. And it did. And then he was able to get after what he wanted. So you kind of have to go through some uncomfortable shit to get to this point. Like, dude, you're looking incredible physically.
Thanks, bro.
I'm assuming it's been really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What have you had to, who did you have to become to get to this point?
Stop making excuses, because the thing that I found what I was doing before, I was using the excuse of being a bit chubby as a way for me to lift heavy weights in the gym. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm a little bit chubby, but look how much.
Weight moves weight.
Yeah, I can do 50 kilo dumbbell chest press. I'm massive. Then I was like, well, I can't really run. I can't really move. I can lift up 50 kilo dumbbells, but besides that, what else can I do? And it was just that realization of just stop using excuses. And it was touched on what we talked about before with needing to tap into a bit of shame and guilt to be able to motivate me to do the right thing. And then once I just got into a routine and did it, there's no turning back. Like just once I started to realize like how good it makes me feel to do like better training for my body that's not going to injure me consistently, to eat better foods, not constantly eat shit. But now I actually absolutely like thrive on that lifestyle. Now I couldn't even picture myself going back. Even around Christmas time, people were saying to me, oh, you're going to have the Christmas blowout? I'm like, I can't. Like it's not even an option for me. Like it's not even tempting anymore. And even now, because I know a lot of people know about my story with coming sober from drugs. I used to still drink like on the occasion type thing. But then even on my birthday last year, I said to myself, I'm going to take a year off piss. I'm just going to do it. And everyone's like, are you sure? Like, what about Johnny's birthday and this and that? What about Christmas and New Year's? And I'm like, I'm just going to make the decision to do it and do little challenges like that to really commit to my own decisions that I make and not go back on them, because I started to lose a lot of trust in myself because I would make myself a promise and go back on that promise.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy, bro, how much judgment you get for not drinking?
Oh, bro.
Whereas you don't get judgment if you try to be healthy or go after you. Well, you do get judgment if you go after your goals because you make them feel uncomfortable. Yeah. But
if you don't drink, everyone's like, are you okay?
Are you sweet? Oh, why is that? Yeah. Did something bad happen? Yeah. Like, fuck, no, I just made a decision. And this, I still have a couple here and there, bro. My missus and I used to go to breweries and stuff all the time when we first got together. Really enjoyed it. Yeah. But then I just started feeling like shit. And I thought, oh, this doesn't serve me at all. Yeah. So I'll still have them here and there, but I'm the same, bro, where it's like, what's the point? Yeah. What is the point? And it's like anything. Something Todd Jarrett, our mate, like he's one of my best mates. He's been an incredible friend and mentor to me the last few years. Toddy's like the master of identity. And I think for anyone to really listen, we've just started this year, right? Yeah. It's 2025. It's the first, 2 weeks have already gone. Yeah. Think about the goals you set and what you actually haven't done yet. Now, from what I've found at the core of it all, it's not what you do that's going to change you, it's who you become. And you need to choose, who the fuck are you? Are you the guy that goes to the gym, or are you still the dude that doesn't go to the gym that tries to go to the gym?
That was me.
It's a big concept shift, dude. It's like people don't realize. It's like you can sit there and go, I'm going to go for 10K runs. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Okay, well, that's all well and good. You might do it for 2 days, but because you're not the person who does that, you're probably not going to stick to it.
Yeah.
You know, and another piece, until I want to be really, really an expert in this once I've got it sorted, but around the neurodivergent stuff, ADHD, autism, etc. Dude, my experience with it's so fucking hectic that people don't realize how many people are on the spectrum. And people are saying, oh, it's overdiagnosed. No, it's just we've got people creating memes and there's internet now. So people are realizing going, oh, fuck.
Yeah, like, this makes sense.
Maybe I am on the spectrum. So it's like I am going to go through the process, and I'm literally going to see my GP this week to get my mental health plan and go see a psychologist and get all the things sorted, because I know for my brain, and I've already spoken to a couple of mates who are psychologists and psychiatrists, and they're like, yeah, Trav, like you've done all the tests, you've done multiple tests, and we've had a chat to you. You're most likely, so go get it sorted, see what it's like. Maybe the medication works, maybe it doesn't, but I'm willing to try it. Because I've got mates who are on it and they changed their fucking life.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, it's like they can focus, their emotions are regulated. They don't need dopamine hits from all sorts of shit that causes so many addictions in young men. And it's not to use it as an excuse by any means, but the reason I talk about it is that I think the difference being is that what they've realized is that sometimes the comorbidities or the symptoms of ADHD, etc., also coincide with trauma, so complex trauma syndrome. Is it a trauma response or is it ADHD? That's a question that's popped up lately. But I'll never discount the fact that ADHD is 100% real. And I feel sorry for anyone that's really struggling with it and doesn't get the support. Because I'll never forget, I love YouTube comments.
Yeah.
They're fucking goated, bro. Like they're so funny and so
Best
insightful.
social media platform for comments.
Dude, sometimes they're very insightful. And I'll never forget this comment I saw. Sometimes I get caught up in my algorithm watching people do kind things for homeless people. Or like just cool shit for people that need it.
Yeah.
And I fucking sit there crying the whole time. But I get really inspired by it. And I remember seeing a comment on a video of this homeless person. And they just said, dude, imagine if all these homeless people are just people that haven't been diagnosed. Because I've seen what this shit does to people.
Yeah.
I've seen what it does to kids. It's so different to adults.
It'd be destructive.
Oh, dude.
100%.
Yeah. Like if you depend, and again, it's like some dude takes a piss out of himself with it on socials. It's like a belt system.
Yeah.
You're either like a brown belt, black belt, white belt, whatever. Some of us are black belts and hectic on the spectrum, and maybe there's certain things we need to get sorted. But of course, there's natural things where it's like eating better, getting your gut health sorted, training, sunshine, good water. There's always those things. But sometimes there's things that help us that little bit extra. And maybe some people need that. I think what happens in this space as well is like, especially like the health experts and gurus, and it's like, you have to eat organic. Yeah, you can't do this. It's like, I love that shit.
Yeah.
But some people also maybe can't do that.
Yeah. I find that like, even though I'm in the gym and I am living more of a healthy lifestyle,
Nice.
quote unquote, but I don't eat like all the organic foods, all the, like fruit smoothies and the kale smoothies, and like I don't do all that still. I found the way for it to work for me that I feel like I can work at optimal level.
And I love that, bro. And I think my mate Lockie said this. I think his mentor said it to him. It's there's so many different things that people tell us are right or wrong. There's so many beliefs and stories that we are supposed to follow or supposed to or should. But what if something works for you that doesn't work for someone else?
Yeah.
Is it useful for you? Awesome. Do it. If it's not hurting anyone, fuck, it works. Because I look at my grandfather that passed last year, and that man drank every day. He ate lots of meat. He ate lots of bread, all these things that we get told are bad for us. And he passed at 87 years old. He lived a really healthy, happy life on the farm, stress-free. There's the key. In my view, I think the most important part of your health is how stressed and inflamed are you.
I've actually got a story about that.
Oh shit! Okay,
share quickly.
Yeah.
So I've actually not really talked about this much because I never really wanted to speak into existence because I didn't want people to see me as a certain way or like try and feel sorry for me. But in 2016, I got diagnosed with chronic kidney disease. And when I got diagnosed, he said, by the time you're 25, your kidneys are going to fail. It's going to be like a dramatic shift's going to happen in your life. So think about 2016, we're now in 2025. I'm 27, so 2 years past that 25 age. And I had my specialist appointment. only go yearly now. I went to the appointment about 3 weeks ago, and he was like to me, your kidney function is perfect, like someone that doesn't even have a disease. And he's like, it doesn't even seem like you've got any symptoms of a disease, but we still have to monitor it because you still got that label of a diagnosis. So come back in a year's time. And then, and when I was reflecting on it, I was like, what's the biggest thing that I've done since 2016 to now that's probably helped me the most? And it's like, eliminate unnecessary stress in my life. And I feel like that's been the biggest thing because when I started doing research on it, because what's happening with my kidneys is they leak, at the time they were leaking 11 times more protein than the average kidney.
Shit.
So like it was losing a lot of protein, which was making the kidney function worse. But one thing I started to realize when I was researching is that high blood pressure puts more stress on the kidneys, which makes them overwork even more. So I was like, all right, if I start eliminating stress in my life, that should lower my blood pressure, and then it should put less stress on my kidneys. And now, 9 years later since my diagnosis, it's like I've never really had a kidney disease to begin with. Like it's crazy.
There's one of your clips for your podcast, bro. Like, to me, it's it's so true, bro. Same thing, right? I haven't really told this much where got diagnosed with a degenerative heart disease at 18, which they were telling me like, oh, people don't have this unless 80 years old.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, cool. So I'm going to die at some point. And they said, look, it's basically a right bundle branch block or a right fascicular block. It just means, I believe one of the valves doesn't electrically fire sometimes. So back then when I was really stressed and anxious and depressed, every day, bro, I thought, fuck, this is it. Yeah. It'd be palpitations. I'd get blurry vision, headaches. I thought, and it was fucked, man. Like imagine every day you think, oh, this is where my heart's going to collapse. Yeah. Even if I trained, my heart would go like this. It'd be like, boop, 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 and I could feel it. My whole chest was fucking like this. And I remember saying to my partner at the time, Grace, it's like, babe, like this is fucked. I genuinely think I'm going to die someday. What are we now? I'm 35. So 15 years later, 17 years, sorry, my heart's fine. Yeah. Like it literally, it still happens sometimes. Like it still is something I will have to get checked, unfortunately. But to the degree of what it was,
it doesn't determine like how you live your life. You know what I mean,
dude? 7-year cycles for me. So 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. My cells are regenerating every 7 years from what I want to believe and what I've experienced with Joe Dispenza and Gary Brecker, I think his name is, and a couple other experts. I'm just choosing to believe that, my cells regenerate every 7 years. So how about for 7 years, I focus on becoming the best version, the healthiest version, and see what happens in 7 years. I got told my knee would never heal. I wouldn't be able to walk. You've seen me playing ball quite a bit, right? So it's this belief system, man, where it's like we're in this system. We have these. I know doctors are doing their job. I'm not trying to slag doctors by any means, and I know you're not either. No, but it's more so just telling people, it's like, are you really going to take other people's word for how you're going to live?
Yeah, exactly right. And like the doctors as well, he was just making a prediction on, I guess, the evidence that he has.
Yeah, based off of the average and stuff. Yeah,
but that doesn't mean every single person follows the same fate.
No, man.
We all have different decisions that we make. We all have different beliefs, like if I got that diagnosis, to be honest, for the first year I struggled with it. It put me down. I was like, what's the point in even trying to be healthy if this is going to be my fate anyway? But then once I was like, no, fuck that. Like if I'm going to die at 25, I want to make sure that I live the next years to be the best as possible, And ever since then I've just lived by that model, like just live every day to the fullest and embrace every moment.
Honestly, dude, I think, how are we doing for time? Yeah, this is probably it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's probably the best way to finish in. I'll say this. Really, please, like whoever's listening, if you need motivation to live, just remind yourself you're going to die. Like it's losing 3 people in 6 months last year, my grandmother, my grandfather, and a mate, Jax, who we both knew. I'm 30 years old. Like, it's not all guaranteed. Like, so if you're sitting there on the fence of changing that job, asking that person for a relationship, starting that career you want to start, like, really put things into perspective. You are not here forever. You are inhabiting some meat sack right now as an energetic source of soul, or whatever you want to call it. So really, if you really want to take this on with what Ryan and I just talked about, with the fact that nothing actually means anything, we'll start making your life mean whatever the fuck you want it to mean.
Yes.
Like, it's really put some positive, because I don't want you to go down the path of like nihilism or what's the point, and like, oh, nothing means anything, Trav said it. Like, it's then nothing. Oh no, that just means that you got a blank slate and you get to be who you want to be, however the fuck you want to be. So that would be my main thing, is like, we are born as laptops. Our parents and society and everyone else tries to put their software onto us. Yeah. They create some viruses and dust and shit. Mindset work, breath work, all these things, they clear that shit out so you can operate at the optimal system that you want to be running in your laptop. 100%. Your body is a laptop.
And the thing is, tomorrow's not promised, but don't use that as a way to, I guess, feel down about tomorrow. Instead, use it as a thing to motivate you today.
100%, bro. Yeah, love that.
Let's quickly get into our community Q&As with a few questions come through. Our first one is, who's your basketball GOAT?
MJ.
MJ?
Yeah, MJ, Kobe, then LeBron. Now, for me, LeBron's definitely achieved more than the other two, but I looked at that dude, The Last Dance. Like, you saw what level MJ was on.
Yeah.
That motherfucker would stop cities when he rocked up.
Yeah.
There was people that would crying. It seemed like the other MJ, Michael Jackson. Apparently, Michael Jackson, people nearly died.
Yeah.
Because when they saw him in person, they freaked out and had like panic attacks.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan had the same effect.
He's probably like the first sports superstar.
Yep.
Probably after Muhammad Ali.
Look at how he affected culture. Jordans.
Yeah, Jordans.
Like the Chicago Bulls are going to be relevant for the rest of existence because of Michael Jordan. Yeah. I don't know how the Cavaliers are going to be, you know, like, or the Lakers probably will be. But yeah, man, like, I got nothing against LeBron, but yeah, for me, MJ, just his mindset, his story, where he came from, what he went through, his killer instinct, his abilities, all that combined, for me, yeah, he's the GOAT for me.
What happened with his dad and then bouncing back from that as well? Going to play baseball, and then still coming back, like, bro, like,
yeah, dude, you can't build them like that. And people will talk about, you know, the 90s basketball being different to the modern day. Of course it is. Yeah. I think it was way harder back then because of how physical it was. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, now there's some fucking freak athletes that would kill it back then. Yeah. But just what MJ had to go through with the physicality, like especially the Pistons, and how like the bad boys and all the shit he had to deal with, totally different to how, as they would call him, LeBron LaFlop would have to go through sometimes, where it's this 6'9", 250-pound dude that's like throwing his hands in the air. It's like, come on, bro. Yeah. You're stronger than that.
Yeah. My personal favorite growing up was Ray Allen. I used to love watching Ray Allen.
On Miami?
Yeah.
Damn. What about when he was with KG and Paul Pierce?
Yeah. Yeah. And the Celtics as well.
Yeah.
I used to love watching Ray Allen. But when he was at the Heat, that's when I decided to choose a team. So I supported Miami Heat because it was him, Wade, LeBron, just smashing it.
That was incredible to watch. Yeah, it was. That was cool. Do you still follow the Heat now?
Not as much, no.
Yeah. Gone. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Our next one is, I think we might have touched on this, but what helped you in setting boundaries? This is something I struggle with.
So this is, again, the story piece of like, what is it about people pleasing that protects you? So you really need to find out, like, how does people pleasing actually keep you safe? Because this is the thing, like, we call them, and I do call them limiting beliefs because that's what people know them as, but they're survival mechanisms. They were created as a kid to keep you safe. So find out why you people please maybe, and then you'll start to uncover the story. Because from what I see, the thing that I do with shadow work, I guess the easiest way to put it, and this is what's dropped in this week so people can understand this, the beauty of unconscious work with shadows, these things that are hidden down in the caves of your mind, the reason I want to shine light of them and find them and sort of dig them out and bring them to the surface is so that your brain can see it and start to process it, integrate it. Because when it's a shadow and it's unconscious, it's a program that you don't know is playing out. But when you bring it up into the prefrontal cortex, the conscious mind, it can then process it. That's when you rewire your brain. So those unconscious programs don't play out anymore because you spent time asking those deeper questions. That's why mentoring is so important, man. Like, you could do self-development and do shadow journals and all these things, but until someone's intuitively asking you the right questions to take you to the next part and you answer instinctively based on what you know, it's an absolute game changer, because then you'll know why they're playing out, and then you can change them.
And you can understand something, but until someone else says it, that's when you can truly understand it.
It hits so different, bro. That's why podcasts are so cool, because you're great at asking questions that spark something in my brain to me give my knowledge. Whereas, bro, sometimes I walk around and I go, I know nothing.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm like, if I try and create a video for Instagram, I'm like, what the fuck?
What do I even say? And then someone asks you a question, you're like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember 20 years worth of knowledge. Like, oh shit, okay. So I get caught up in that sometimes where I'm like, you're right. It's like, I know I've never read a book. I don't know anything. Why does anyone want to listen to me? And then someone like a client will just say one little thing, and all of a sudden I turn into fucking Rafiki. And I've got the most wise words, like visuals. I said something the other day that landed so hard, dude. It was something about how they keep getting into toxic relationships and how they keep getting judged by everyone else. And the analogy I brought through was, and I slowed down. I was like, well, brother, what it might be is that you've tamed this stallion from the Wild West, brought it into the yards, you've calmed it down, you've spent years with it, creating it as the best stallion of the bunch. But the owner of the house, the owner of the yards, he didn't see that happen. He just judges that as the old stallion that came into the yard and nearly killed him that day. So it's kind of like and that landed for him, goes, yeah, fuck, I only know this woman who she really is because I'm with her all the time. They're just judging her for the couple of times that it nearly kicked them in the head or whatever, right? So that visual for him hasn't left him now. And it made him go, he fucking bawled his eyes out, because he's like, holy shit, I'm literally letting them choose and decide who she is based off their very minimal actions with her, where I see who she truly is behind closed doors. And she might be putting a mask on when she's around everyone else.
Yeah, that could be like a protective thing.
Literally, bro. So they think that she's a bitch when really she's the biggest sweetheart that does all these things for him and really caring and supportive. But her survival mechanism is to become this, right? So that's a really important story, I'm sure, that just landed for a few people too.
Our next one is journey or outcome?
Journey, 100%. Yeah, you got to enjoy the journey, man. Otherwise, you won't show up. Well, that's for me personally. Like, my hero's journey has unfolded many times now. And because I just love it so much, I'm just going to keep going on it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to keep having new goals. They might change. Like as I said before, me going to Japan and coming back, I realized I want a simple life for now. So, but maybe 10 years down the track, like, nah, I've got to create the Technician Academy. I've got to have technician coaches getting out there and doing it how I do it. And maybe that'll still happen. I don't know. But right now, this version of me, he just wants a simple life to, you know, make enough money to travel, eat good food, do cool shit, and be healthy.
I think you answered my last question, because this is the one I ask everyone. But what's your definition of success?
Yeah, exactly that, bro. Like, just... I guess it's a form of freedom, but not necessarily freedom in the way that people think. It's freedom from my mind, and to live a life where I'm not controlled by unconscious programs and shadows. That's what I want for everyone. Like, this is going to sound woo-woo, but I need to say it. My name, I realized in NLP a couple of years ago, Christy helped me realize this. Travis, if you look at the etymology of my name, and you should do it for yourself, bro, it's cool. Travis basically translated to traverse or bridge. And then Leonard is like lion or lion's gate, which is the gateway to consciousness. So basically I'm like the bridge to consciousness. So I'm helping people become conscious.
That's sick.
Fuck, no wonder my mission's this. I'm literally rewiring their unconscious programs that are holding them back and making them do shit they don't want to do, to let them live a life that's literally, like my saying is, unplug, rewire, unleash. So that you can go live a life where you're not controlled by these fucking software systems that were put on your laptop, as I said, that are making you do shit that you don't know why you do it.
Yeah.
So if you're throwing money away more than you earn, you're in toxic relationships, you're doing all this stupid shit, you say you're going to go lose weight this year, but you actually put weight on, just on that, sometimes some people keep themselves bigger. Your unconscious mind keeps yourself bigger because you were safer like that. Maybe a bit more weight stopped you from predatory males around you or whatever it might be. So be really careful about what's actually playing out under the surface, because honestly, dude, some of the things I've helped clients uncover and myself, just those little things to bring conscious, and then we lock in and we hold them accountable. We get them to do challenges and to break through it. They come out the other side different people.
Yeah.
And look, there's always going to be more. That's one thing I want to say about my coaching. Yes, you'll see all these amazing testimonials and stuff like that. I'm sure they're going to have shit times down the track, but they never forget what they've uncovered.
Yeah.
You don't go back to sleep.
You don't forget the foundations.
You'll never forget that breath work makes you feel better.
Yeah.
You're just like us. We just forget sometimes for a moment, but then we get reminded and like, oh, that's right. I can just breathe and feel better.
Yeah, legit.
You know? So, yeah, bro.
That's simple.
Yeah, literally.
All right, Trav, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, my man. That was epic. I appreciate you.
Cheers.